How to do multiple firings with the ECHELON Contour Curved Cutter. With a unique curved head and tissue retaining pin, ECHELON Contour Curved Cutter is reloadable when you need multiple firings to complete a single transection. During a procedure such as LAR, there may be times when it would be appropriate to do more than one firing for transection. Tissue that is wider, thicker, or difficult to close in the jaws of the device may indicate there is too much tissue to transect in a single firing. Attempting to force the trigger to complete the closing stroke with too much tissue or thickened tissue may result in poor staple line integrity, with possible leakage or disruption. In addition, instrument damage or failure may result. This video will demonstrate the steps to complete a distal transection with more than one firing. Completing the first of two firings. For the first firing, ensure that the device reaches more than halfway across the tissue that you are going to transect. Using the actuator button on top of the handle, manually advance the retaining pin until it pierces the tissue. Completely squeeze the closure trigger and handle together until the closure trigger is latched with an audible click. If you did not previously advance the pin manually, it will automatically advance and pierce the tissue. When the closure trigger is latched, the firing trigger moves to the ready-to-fire position. Wait 15 seconds to allow for adequate tissue compression. Completely fire the instrument by squeezing the firing trigger until it touches the closure trigger. Make sure that the release button is not pressed during firing, as proper formation of staples may be compromised. The firing stroke must be completed. Do not partially fire the instrument. Incomplete firing can result in malformed staples, incomplete cut line, bleeding, and leakage from the staple line and/or difficulty removing the device. The firing trigger automatically returns to the open position as soon as the hand releases it, leaving the closure trigger in the fully closed position. After firing the instrument, open the jaws of the instrument by squeezing the closure trigger and pushing the release button with the thumb. Retract the retaining pin manually. Examine the staple line for proper staple formation. Following the first firing, the tissue is transected up to the retaining pin and the staple line extends beyond the pin. The staple line extension temporarily seals against the potential of lumen content until the transection can be completed with a second firing. At this time, the OR staff will reload the device for the second firing. Completing the distal transection with a second firing. When positioning the contour for the second firing, you may choose to position the second staple line where the first line ended, or, if appropriate, you may choose to offset the second staple line to control the location of the staple line crossing. Advance the retaining pin to capture the remaining tissue within the jaw opening. Close the device. Wait 15 seconds for adequate tissue compression and fire the device. Release the device and examine the tissue for hemostasis and proper staple formation. If hemostasis is not present, appropriate techniques should be used to achieve hemostasis. When the second firing is offset, the pinhole and any overcut from the second transection will be removed with the specimen. When the second firing is aligned to the first, the device creates a continuous seal and transection from the retaining pinhole. Designed for multiple firings, the ECHELON Contour Curved Cutter's leak pressure at the staple line with two firing transections was not less than one firing transections. ECHELON Contoured Curved Cutter. Trust and confidence. Reload after reload.